back to the vlog. If you guys are new here, I'm Ashley, and today we're going to be trying something new. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make whoopie pies. This is our first cooking or baking video on this channel, so I hope you really enjoy this type of content. So if you don't know what a whoopie pie is, I'll place a picture of it right here on the screen. They're really delicious, and basically what they are is basically like two brownie-like cookies with a little bit of vanilla buttercream in the center. So we're going to be learning how to make those today. Very easy step-by-step process. And before we get into that, I want to give a quick shout out to one of my friends. Her channel's name is called Wolfgang Gaming. So I definitely recommend for you to stop by her channel and hit the subscribe button because her channel is absolutely amazing. And another thing I want to mention is that next week we're going to be starting something new called post notification shoutouts. You guys probably know what that is, but before you already think about doing that, I want to explain how to enter to do the giveaway. The first step is subscribe. The second step is to smash that like button, and the third step is to turn on post notifications. And also to let me know that you have entered to do that, comment hashtag post notification squad, and in my next video, you may be one of the winners to be shouted out in my videos. That sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? So please don't forget to do that in order to enter the giveaway. I will be shouting the winner out in the next video. But without further ado, let's get started with this video. So there are two steps to making whoopie pies. There is the filling process on how to make the filling for it, because it's basically like a sandwich. You saw the picture. And we also need to make the actual cookie majority of it. And it's not really a cookie, it's really soft, so it's awesome. And some of the ingredients that we're gonna need is cocoa powder. This is cocoa powder. And we will be needing some baking powder. And I use this brand. I use the Clabber Girl. It's a really good brand. You don't have to use this brand necessarily, but this is just a brand that I got from the store. You will also need some salt and some butter. Some margarine or spreadable butter works. You'll be needing some vanilla extract 2 times in this recipe. You'll be needing some vegetable oil, some eggs. You'll need 4 eggs. I'm going to get into the measurements of this in a bit. I'm just going over all the ingredients with you. We'll be needing lots of sugar. We'll be needing some flour. We'll be needing some of this. This is lard, basically. That's what they call it. And this is powdered sugar. And this is marshmallow cream. For the marshmallow cream, I used Jet Puff. It's an awesome brand. I use this brand. You don't have to use this brand, but it's a great brand. And also some milk, some sea salt, and you'll be needing a baking sheet and a big mixing bowl. And then you'll need some baking powder. And that's pretty much it. But link in the description, I'll put a link in the description of the recipe I am looking off of. I found this on foodnetwork.com, but there's multiple different whoopie pie recipes that you can find online. But these are the traditional ingredients. Okay guys, so you guys will need 3 cups sugar, 1 cup of butter, 4 eggs, 1/2 cup vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 6 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1.5 tablespoons baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, and finally 3 cups of milk. And this is for the whoopie pie batter ingredients. Okay, so you will need 1.5 cups shortening, 3 cups of confectioner's sugar or powdered sugar, 1 1/3 cups marshmallow topping or marshmallow cream, a quick dash of salt, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, 1/2 cup of milk, and that will be the filling for the inside of our delicious whoopie pies. But the first step right now is to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if you're from the UK and you guys obviously do not have Fahrenheit, you will be preheating your oven to 176.7 Celsius. So the first step is to preheat your oven to 350 Fahrenheit. I want you guys to come down over here and I will preheat the oven to 350 Fahrenheit. Whoops, went a little bit too far. There we go, it's gonna preheat. The oven will preheat. Now let's get back to the main frame. Come on over, guys. Let's get back into it now. We are gonna have to start making the actual thing. This is the most fun part. Like I said, link in the description below for the directions on how to make this so that you guys can follow along and do everything step by step with me. All right, so now in a large bowl, I'm gonna grab my electric mixer because we have to get this ready because we are gonna have to, mix this and put all the ingredients together. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna beat the sugar in. So we're gonna have to grab this big amount of sugar. I can't wait to be eating these whoopie pies. And what we are gonna do is we're gonna beat the sugar, the butter, and the eggs together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this and I'm just gonna dump all the sugar in there. There goes all the sugar, it's so fine. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab the butter. So here's the butter. So you do not have to melt the butter. I'm just grabbing it from the margarine stick. Whoops. So I'm just gonna unwrap this for you guys. And remember to refrigerate your butter so it does not melt. There are multiple different ways of making whoopie pie. Some people use powdered sugar in it to top it, and some people don't top it at all. But you could also use buttercream or other stuff like that. Buttercream's really good. The next thing I'm going to do is grab the other one of these, unwrap it, because obviously we have to get both of them in here to make a cup. Comment down below any other things you'd like me to show you how to make, because I know how to make apple pie and some other stuff like that. That's really good and interesting. So I can definitely show you guys how to make that. The next thing is our eggs. So here's our 4 eggs. Right here, our 4 eggs. And all we gotta do is dump those eggs into the mixture. Now, we have a pretty good mixture so far. It's kind of getting a little messy here, but we'll clean up as we go. And together when combined, we're gonna add the oil and the vanilla to the mixture. So here's our vegetable oil, any brand you want. Same thing as canola oil. And then we're just gonna dump it in. As you can see, we're basically adding all the mainly wet ingredients to the combination. And then I'm gonna grab this. This is the vanilla extract. And at the beginning of the video, you saw all the measurements. So I'm just gonna dump that in. Vanilla extract is my favorite. I love it so much. And the next thing that we are gonna do is beat it. So in order to do this, I'm going to grab a mixer so we can do this. I'm gonna actually use my powered one because a whisk doesn't do us very well. And we got the sugar, butter, and eggs in here. We got the oil and the vanilla, just to restate that so you guys can follow along. Now, mine doesn't have very many settings. I'm just gonna go slowly. I'm gonna slowly work my way up to the highest setting because I don't want this to splatter all over me. So let's turn it on. Let's just go in there and we're gonna beat it. Now the butter isn't really doing much in there. So we're kind of making a dough. It's looking very delicious and it smells amazing. So it's kind of hard to beat the butter into the mixture. Let's go in. Let's beat it. Now I recommend for it to be a smooth mixture because after all, we are making the cookie part of it, and if you guys have made cookies before from scratch, you guys know that you have to make the dough part of it or the batter. Alright, I'm going to just bring it up just a tad bit faster to make sure that it's all mixed in before we add the other ingredients. Now I'm going to slowly turn it off, and I'm going to rest it over there real quick. And so far you can see our mixture. Very yummy mixture. Smells like cake. And so the next thing that we are going to be doing is adding in a separate bowl. So we need a separate bowl, but I'm just going to use the bowl with the cocoa powder in it because it already has its dry ingredients. So the next thing I'm going to do is add half of like the dry mixture in, but first we have to make the dry mixture. So what I'm going to do is move this over so you guys can see a little bit better, because currently we don't need this. So we have our cocoa powder. It's unsweetened, like I said. The next thing you need to do is add in your baking powder. I showed you the brand at the beginning of the video. Dump that into the cocoa powder. Make sure you get everything out because there isn't too much in there. Then the next thing you are going to be doing is adding in your baking soda into that mixture. Add in your salt into the mixture. And then we have that. Now, the next thing I recommend to do is grab a spoon. And you're gonna grab the spoon right here and mix in all your dry ingredients together. Make sure it's equal and there's no, like, you know, sometimes with dry ingredients they get kind of like rocks in there, like really thick. So it looks like our oven has preheated, so it's ready to go. And mix it in so it's equalized. But yeah, just sometimes it tends to get some rocks in there, and I just kind of made a mess, but that's just part of it. And then I'm just gonna go in and just mix it because, you know, rocks aren't good in there. Gotta make sure everything's fine and smooth and soft. That's what I like to make sure happens. And the cocoa powder is already super smooth because it's a brand new bag. Now, I'm done with that spoon. And the next thing I'm gonna do is dump about half of this. You don't need to get too technical with measurements, just dump in half. So I'm just gonna dump in little by little. I'm gonna bring this bowl over here so you guys can see it. That's a lot of batter. So what I'm gonna do is, you know, go in and then grab the spoon and mix a little bit in. This cocoa powder smells delicious. I cannot wait to eat these Whoopie pies. All right, so I think that's about half. There's still a little bit more in there, but that's a good amount. And on your directions, if you did go in the link in the description and grab them, it does say that you need to mix it in with the egg mixture. And this is the egg mixture, the liquid mixture. And then we are gonna beat it. So slowly we're gonna mix it in. Start it. Gotta make sure, you know, we don't want it to fly everywhere. And also while we're mixing, I just want to let you know to hit the subscribe button because about 60% of you guys that are watching my videos are not subscribed and about 30% of you guys are subscribed. So please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Okay, so we're done mixing the majority of that, but the reason why I stirred in all of the smaller dry ingredients first is because it's a lot easier to incorporate. But now what we're gonna do is add the flour. You guys are probably like, what happened to the flour? Well, we're gonna be adding that in. You can add the dry ingredients however you like, but this is the way I'm doing it so that it becomes smoother. Okay, that's enough for now. Now let's turn on our setting and incorporate it. Now flour is very thick, so you gotta make sure that you spend a lot of time mixing it in. Because this is when it starts to become more like a dough. Okay, so now I've been stirring for a bit, and here's what you wanna do. So what you wanna do is, what you've seen so far, I got all the wet ingredients so far. That's what we have so far. And then after that, I got half of the cocoa powder and I got all the other dry ingredients in. And I mixed those together. And then I started looking at the flour, and I got half of the flour mixed in already. But now that we have basically half and half of each of the main dry ingredients, we want to add in half of our 3 cups, or 4 cups of milk. Yeah, 3 cups of milk. So we're gonna add roughly half of it. Doesn't have to be perfect measurement. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add in about half of it. So maybe a little bit more. I'm just, estimating how much I think should go in because it's about half. Now that's what we have so far. So what we wanna do is measure and mix it in. So let's just go in and mix. Okay, so as you can see, I added in the milk, I mixed in the milk, and then I added the other half of the flour, and I'm gonna mix that in, and now I'm gonna add the other half of the cocoa powder. Okay, so now I've added in the cocoa powder into it, now that it's starting to get much better mixed. So now I'm gonna start mixing in the cocoa powder, and all of it's starting to blow everywhere, so I'm gonna take down the setting quite a bit. And to make it easier on your mixing, because it is starting to get quite hard, especially with an electric machine, grab the rest of your milk and just, stump the rest of it in. So that's what you have so far. And now you are going to mix it in, and it should be much easier. Okay, so now here's what you should have. You should have a creamy consistency that's like pretty creamy, but not too thick and not too runny at all. Just right in the middle, perfect consistency. And that's just what you should have. And I've mixed all of our ingredients that we've had here. And the only thing left to do is to make 32 of things. So we're gonna grab a scooper like this. I don't have a professional scooper, I'm just using an ice cream scoop, just like a traditional spoon basically. And that's when this comes in. And we might need to make 2 batches. I do recommend having 2 batches. You put in 1 batch first, and then once those come out of the oven, get the second batch in. Because, did I forget to say that this recipe makes a yield of 16 cookies. And it's a cookie on the bottom, a cookie on the top, so that's why we need 32 scoops. But we're not gonna put all 32. We're gonna put 16 out of the 32 scoops, because half of 32 is 16. Okay, and before we do that, we gotta make sure that our aluminum on our cookie sheet is sprayed with baking non-stick spray. And I'm using Pam. You don't have to, you can use whatever you want. So I'm gonna go spray. So come a little bit closer, guys, so you guys can see the spray. So just get that roughly sprayed everywhere, just until perfect. And that's what we have. And now the next thing I'm gonna do is grab a good scoop. We have quite a bit here, so whatever works, works. We're gonna grab this, and we're just going to put a good amount there, because these do get pretty big. Grab them. Okay, that looks probably just about right. And now what we're gonna do is put our oven mitts on, and we're gonna put them in the oven. So the oven has obviously been preheated, and these cookies need to go in for about 10 to 12 minutes in order for them to, not be golden brown because they're already brown, but to be done. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up our oven. Come on over, guys. And we're gonna grab our cooking sheet and let's come over to the oven and put them in for around 10 to 12 minutes. So now we just put them in the oven. We're gonna close the oven up and we're gonna put our timer on for 12 minutes. All right, it's about 12 minutes. We can take them out earlier if they look like they're burning. But we're gonna save this for the other batches that we still have to complete because obviously we can't fit these on the cookie sheet. All right, so let's get started out on our filling. So make sure you have your recipe in front of you. And then what we're gonna be doing is we are going to add everything that we have here except for the milk. So the milk goes last. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be adding our shortening or lard. We're gonna add this in. And I'm just gonna grab a large spoon. It's a good size. And it's pretty much clumped together. So all you gotta do is very oily. So do make sure you wash your hands after handling this. It's quite sticky. That's enough for that. The next thing that we are going to be adding is our confectionate sugar, or as I like to call it, powdered sugar. And when these whoopie pies are completed, we are probably gonna have to top it with some of this powdered sugar as well, because that's gonna be delicious. So I'm just gonna dump in all the 3 cups of this. Yum. This is gonna be so good. I cannot wait. All right, and the next thing that we're gonna have to do is throw in a little dash of salt. I'm gonna add in some salt. Just gonna go in with it. Doesn't say specific measurement, so I'm just gonna put in a dash of salt. I don't wanna put too much or too little because we just want it just right. And the next thing that we need to do is add in our marshmallow topping. It's basically just melted marshmallow. This is gonna be so good. Cannot wait. Super sticky, so you gotta put in a lot of effort pushing this in. Okay, so I got the marshmallow mixture in. It took quite a bit of time because it gets really sticky, and I didn't really want to show you every bit of that. But I'm gonna mix it in a bit more. I'm gonna move it over because the cord's tugging. So just mix that in just a little bit. And the next step is to add your vanilla extract in. So all you're gonna do is add a little bit because a lot of vanilla extract goes a long way. So you don't need too much. A little bit goes a long way with the vanilla extract. And then the next thing you need to do is add your milk in because that was the last thing that you need to add into the recipe. And just make sure it's just enough so it's consistent, the texture. So just add little by little. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add that much because I wanna make sure I'm adding just enough so it doesn't get too runny because then I don't wanna mess up the thing. So I'm just going in here. I think I'm gonna slowly add in some milk. And I'm gonna add in some more milk because I think that we'll need all the milk. And that was a half cup of milk that I used. On the recipe, you'll see that it says 1/3 to 1/2 cup milk, but I just wanted to go with a half cup because I think 1/3 will make it a little bit too runny, and I didn't want to go that far with it. And my timer is going off for that, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the cookies out of the oven. And it looks like our mixture is looking well, so come over here with me so that we can get the cookies out of the oven. So let's check on them, and if they are too soft, then we will make sure to put them in for longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the timer off because that thing makes so much noise and we don't want that to happen. So let's get a little bit closer, guys, and let's check on how good the cookies are looking. Whoa, they smell so good. And what I'm gonna do is pull them out so you guys can look at them. So this is what they look like so far. I'm gonna go ahead and put them on top of the stove. I don't want them to burn the counter. And I am going to grab these and come on over, guys. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push it into the cookie to see if it's cooked. So it looks like there's no cake sticking. Okay, so far we got this batch that came out, and this will be able to make 3 whoopie pies in total. And I'll be showing you how to put the filling in. We have our finished filling right here. You saw how we made that. And basically it's a perfect consistency. It's very creamy and it's really puffy. And so what we are gonna do is grab a gallon-sized Ziploc bag. Make sure you have one of these or any small Ziploc bag that you have. But I truly recommend this type of gallon-sized Ziploc bag. And what we are going to be doing is putting in our filling into the bag so that we can pipe the filling out onto the whoopie pies. So I'm gonna... Okay, so we have it in the gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and what you want to do is you want to fold it over to one side and grab it like that, and leave the end like that. Get all the air out of your Ziploc bag. And I'm only showing you 3 whoopie pies because there's many more whoopie pies to do. And you can see here that they cooled on the cooling rack. And if you don't have a cooling rack, just let them cool on the cookie sheet. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to have the smaller one I made on top. So then I'm just gonna put it back a little bit because I do not want it all to come out at once. Get your piping thing together. And then the next thing you want to do is grab your scissors one-handed and snip just the end of it off. And now that you have that, now you can just start piping your whoopie pies. So I'm gonna put the filling around it just like so. And that's one whoopie pie done. And the next thing you want to do is grab the top and put it on, just like so. Press it down. You're probably wondering, what is this? It's powdered sugar. And what I'm gonna do is I grabbed a bowl beneath it and I grabbed this mini colander kind of thing. And what I'm gonna do is basically sift it out onto here, but I'm gonna slowly grab my whoopie pie and I'm gonna slowly tap it. And I'm gonna show you guys one more so you guys can get the hang of it a little bit more. Thank you for staying till the end of the video. This is a whoopie pie, but I'm gonna try the whoopie pie because I really want to see how good it turned out. This is amazing. Let me just explain. So basically, you have the chocolatiness of the cookie, and then you have just like the amazing puffy texture of the filling. It's so good. I don't even know how I made this because I'm not a professional chef, but seriously guys, you need to try this. Comment down below if you tried this. I'd love to hear how yours turned out because mine turned out amazing. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next vlog. And don't forget to enter for those post notification shoutouts.